Hello, and welcome back to Pokémon Yellow. This time we're still in Saffron, which we're going to be here quite a little while yet, as you may have figured, and Silph is the part of the game that I think a lot of people don't really remember that fondly. And that's because there's like a lot of levels to it, there's a lot of like Team Rocket dudes that you'll encounter, and if you go off the beaten path a bit, you can quite easily get lost in it.
Yeah, it's like going through it recently, it's like I don't really think the back and forth is that bad, travelling to different floors, going back to check the doors that you haven't unlocked yet. But because the character moves around slowly, it feels a lot more arduous.
I think that part there, what I just went through, the teleporter, is the part that throws a lot of people off. It certainly did back when I was recording Fire Red, and that's why there was so much backtracking in that video. But what you have to do to get past that rocket dude is go in the teleporter, then come back out of it. And I can see why a lot of people might just not think of doing that. It's really not overly clear. It doesn't convey it pretty well. And the teleporter gimmick, I've got to ask, how does that even fucking work? This is just a normal office block. They have teleporters everywhere. Like, they don't even need it. They have a lift. Why?
And none of them link to have any sort of correspondence with any of the floors. It's sort of just random.
Yeah, I would like to imagine they at least have a sign on the wall saying this goes to, say, floor 12 or whatever. But no, it doesn't look like it, does it? It just looks like step in, hope for the best. Chris, you got any memories of Silph, mate?
Not really. I can't really remember it that well. I'm just sort of glad there's not random encounters in there as well, like abandoned factories and stuff.
Oh, that'd be fucking dreadful,
I
wouldn't
suppose
it?
you could use repels, but...
Yeah, but that is the one thing that this has over, say, the Pokémon Mansion, because the Pokémon Mansion, we'll get to that a fair bit later in the playthrough. But yeah, that's a terrible dungeon. But yeah, this is just another thing of like... It wasn't that long ago that we had the rocket infiltration in Celadon, was it? But now, no, more rockets. But that was me getting the card key, and now we've got the card key, we can start getting a bit creative. And I think this is also around the time where my bag starts getting full, so I think you might see me just ignore some items. What essentially happened there was I saved a state, went up to it, found out whether it was worth it. If it wasn't, I just left it.
My bag space kept getting filled up so quickly.
Why is it so limited? Is there like a technical reason for that? Because it doesn't seem like the sort of thing they should be. These are just numbers really in a database.
It's like I just didn't realise how horrid it was until recently.
Because like Gen 2, like yeah, it does still have the like limited items, but at least they're sorted. So you got your, you know, Pokeballs in one thing, you got your general items in another, key items in another. This is really weird, and one thing that can fuck you up somehow is that you can put the key items in the item box, and so it's possible to go out somewhere forgetting a key item you need, like, you know, maybe you put the Poke Flute in and then you bump into a Snorlax. Yeah, it's really archaic. When I say that I look back on Gen 1 fondly, I look back on the general structure of the game. I like that it's Pokemon at its most simple. I like that there's a simple structure to the game. I don't like that there's all this archaic shit that really needed revising later on.
Yeah, thankfully Gen 3, it's unlimited space from then on.
Is it Gen 3? Yeah, that's
Pretty sure it is Gen 3. I don't recall ever once having to put any items back.
That's good,
That's the worst thing about any kind of RPG or anything like that. It's just when you don't have enough space and you've got to constantly manage items.
Yeah, but
I wish it was infinite space.
At least with recent RPGs and that, at least you've got a set number that you can upgrade progressively throughout the game.
I think a lot of RPGs now, like, bear in mind I say this as someone who doesn't really play many RPGs, but I think they're sort of turning against like archaic design choices, because RPGs got to this sort of weird situation where part of what people associate them with were the more archaic tropes. Like, you know, you think an RPG, I'm going to go out and grind up my characters, I'm going to have to do all this stuff. But I've been playing through one of the Neptunia games recently, Rebirth 1, and that, yeah, it's very grind heavy, but it's a remake of a PS3 game, and this particular remake, they've got a lot of things that help you along. So like you get plans you can put on to reduce the enemy's power, which is useful when you're grinding and you don't want to plow through loads of high level enemies. you could just plough through the easy ones and still get the EXP from them. And there's just a load of I think on TV tropes it calls them frustration-free features, which is pretty much the epitome of what it is, isn't it? Like, if you can minimise your grinding, if you can minimise, all the inconveniences of old games, why the fuck are there beds in the middle of this office block? I don't know.
And I'd assume that's a Nurse Joy.
Yeah, is she employed there? Is this their, fucking healthcare plan?
Yes, one of the 4 Rocket brothers. I'm sorry, you all look the same.
Yeah, you, all your brothers, and everyone else in this fucking building.
How do you even know who your brothers are when every single Rocket Grunt looks exactly the same? There aren't even female ones except for Jessie in this version of the game.
Yeah. I find it fascinating how it took them until the next gen to actually have female grunts. And they do have some admins that are more distinct in Gen 2 as well, which is something. It makes them more interesting. And then in Fire Red and Leaf Green you have the scientist variants as well, don't you? Which they're not explicitly labelled as Team Rocket, but they're clearly working with Team Rocket. There's that one in... Well, there's the batch of them in the post-game quest, isn't there? That you go to, I think it's on Five Island, I want to say, where you got the research lab where all the Team Rocket guys are there. And just these scientist dudes, and I think one of them has a Porygon, which is cool because I like Porygon. Hi, Drowsy. Drowsy's design is goofy,
Yeah, it's like a tapir or something.
Something like that, but
Tapir
or something like that.
I'm not sure about the pronunciation of the name.
Welcome to the FlameHisWorld Pokemon Yellow playthrough. We don't know how the fuck to pronounce stuff.
Yeah, we know how to pronounce Pokemon names correctly, but real life animals, not really sure on that.
It's alright, we're still more qualified than the English dub of the anime. It's fine.
Yeah.
I like how there's certain Pokemon that they're inconsistent with, Regice at one point. I think in one of the films they were calling him Regice, and then they've just, in the Battle Frontier, they went back to Regice.
I love Hypno's for that.
His fucking face, yeah!
It's like he's going, look at this! Oh, it's amazing!
You will go to sleep now, Pidgeotto. Yes, you will.
How many fingers am I holding up?
You actually have the right number of fingers. You're actually well done there.
It's like there's also Rayquaza,
Ray.
or Dialga. Its name technically should be pronounced Dialga because dial to do with time.
And diamond, don't you?
But yeah, pronounced Dialga mainly.
I suppose that's just a more convenient thing to say, really, and Dialga rather than Dialga. That's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah, it's just sort of easier to roll off the tongue.
Well, then we do have things like for alligator, which from just reading its name, that might trip you up, mightn't it?
Just gotta love that they had to remove a character from its name because the character limitation in gold and silver.
Yeah, I think the more recent games have a higher character, so it's like for alligator, it's just arbitrarily limited.
Yes. You know what? I'm fine that they haven't added in an extra letter.
Well, it is his name now, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're not going to pull a fucking Maverick Hunt Rex, and for some reason in that game they renamed Boomerkawanga to Boomerang Kawanga. And I suppose initially he was probably intended to be called Boomerang Kawanga, but it was probably a shorthand thing that they had to use. But still, I know him as Boomerkawanga.
It's like, speaking of names, it's like we've probably mentioned this before, but Coffagrigus.
Yes, Coffagrigus. If you don't know, I think it was initially with Black and White in the GTS and online systems, it would reject it on account of its name being offensive because it has the word fag in it. But that is the Pokemon's name.
Yeah, so you couldn't trade a Coffagrigus unless you happened to give it a nickname.
Yeah. Yeah, nice oversight there.
I'm sorry, Coffagrigus, you're too offensive.
Yeah. Let's call you Penis, but with a 5 instead of an X.
Yeah.
That's better. Yeah. I think you can get away with that. I think there were people in, when Sun and Moon came out, that were trading off. What's that Pokemon. Is it Gumshoes, the evolution one of that?
Yeah, the one that looks like what's his face? Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think people were trading them out, calling them like MAGA and things like that, just to fuck with people because that got past the censor. But that's it.
So as soon as Young Goose came out, everybody was calling it Donald Trump. But as soon as Gumshoes came around, oh god, that is really Trump as a Pokemon.
Well, someone needs to make Alola great again, and it's gonna be him.
Especially since Gumshoes is native to Alola, and yet Raticate, which is technically considered the counterpart of Gumshoes in the game, came from abroad.
Yeah, and they're all located within the same place. And especially when you think the fucking recolours as well. Jesus Christ.
God.
I love the Pokemon series.
Yeah. They do so many things by accident, but it's all brilliant.
I remember there was one of the fucking Pokemon guys, I forget who, but during one of the press interviews with him, someone had just asked was he based off Donald Trump? Someone actually fucking asked that to the dude's face, and he's like, no.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I remember before the final evolutions of the starters in Gen 7 were announced, there were leaked images, and someone went with linked the leaked images to a signing. And I can't remember who the artist was. It wasn't Ken Sugimori, but I can't remember who it was who worked on the games. But they signed it, and they said to the person, "Oh, we haven't even released these yet."
That's great.
So people didn't know if this was true or not, whether somebody had just made this photo up or what. Turns out it's true.
Yeah. To be fair, in that situation, I just went, "Oh well, at least the fucking Goku Mewtwo or some stupid shit like that hasn't been released yet." I just murdered the Noah. Right, okay. This is basically all you see in here. You get the Raticates, the Hypnos. Granted, the Hypnos at least it's not a fucking Zubat.
Thing is, though, it's similar to the grass types. The Hypnos and Drowsies have a move they love: Disable.
Yeah, they do get a bit spammy with that sometimes, don't they, in this game? Which I suppose at worst it's a minor annoyance, isn't it? Really, you can rotate out your Pokemon if you need that move back, but I'm at a point where usually I tend to have multiple moves on a Pokemon that can kind of give me stab or whatever, so I don't have to worry too much about one getting disabled. Although I did instinctively use Bite on the Hypno. Even though
it's a dark type, yeah. No. I suffered that problem as well. I just used Bite and I was like,
oh wait.
Oh.
Yeah, forgot about that.
Right, it's not a dark type. That doesn't exist yet.
And I think at a few points, I've recorded this before Sun and Moon came out, but I think I'd already seen the dark type Raticate. There were a few times when I second guessed myself there. Just because I remember there was a lot of talk about the Raticate design at the time. Yeah, I actually recorded this quite a while back now. I think it was mid to late last year. And I'm just glad it's a much smoother run than that old Fire Red run was. The fact that we've condensed it down to not spending entire parts of me walking around aimlessly. You're getting somewhere.
Yeah, so there's progress, you're learning.
I am learning.
You're a slow learner, but still.
5 years on, I'm finally getting somewhere.
Progress.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, you notice how much you've got better at shit over time. And when I was making that 5-year anniversary video, and I was looking back through all the old ones to get footage for them, and yeah, some of the old ones, yes. But this is the Blue and Lapras room. That's what I know it as.
Little thing that I just noticed now with Blue's sprite on the overworld. It's like when you see him from the back and he's walking, it's just like a spike of hair that seems to switch places every time he takes a step. I've only just noticed that. Why?
Gen 1 spriting is certainly Gen 1 spriting.
Just flip him over.
What do you think of Blue being like the gym leader in Gen 2.
I think it's a pretty cool idea.
It kind of gave him something cool to do to kind of balance out, Red being the epic final boss guy. But still, it's like gym leader compared to ultimate supreme champion who is a shut-in on a mountain.
Yeah.
What gym leader was he in control of?
He took over Giovanni's gym in Gen 2. Which I suppose they needed someone.
So why not have the last person who beat the Elite Four?
Well, that would have been Red, wouldn't it?
You know what I mean.
No, I don't.
Well, you see...
Can I just point out Ninetales is fucking beautiful? Even in this basic design there, you can kind of see it.
It is really cool design.
Yeah, I love it. It's got that whole, majestic kitsune look to it.
I love the Alolan form as equally as much, personally.
Well, I know we talked about this
Yeah.
in an earlier part, but I prefer OG Ninetales. But yeah, I have a wall-to-wall, so he's probably not going to be around for long.
Plus, the good thing is that Ninetales has Drought as its hidden ability. So, Insta Solar Beam.
Of course, between this Ninetales and Arcanine, who's your favourite? Because that's a toughie.
Oh, God.
For me, it's Arcanine.
Really?
I really love that design.
It
I mean, don't get me wrong, Ninetales is amazing.
I don't think I could choose. I like them both equally.
See, to me, I think from a visual perspective, I just take more of a liking to Ninetales because, like I say, it's got the majestic kitsune thing to it. It just looks really, graceful. But Arcanine is fucking cool too,
It's like a dog, your best friend, and a tiger at the same time in a way.
Plus, it's called the legendary Pokemon.
Yeah.
But it still looks quite beefy, like a monster.
It's suggested that perhaps it was going to be a legendary initially due to that naming.
Wasn't its stats quite high as well?
Stats are pretty good.
When it first came out, or something like that.
I think so. I mean, the stats weren't adjusted that much from Gen 1 onwards. It's just the inclusion of special attack and special defense they had to change things around. It's like when the Mega Evolutions were brought about, Alakazam had 10 extra points put into one of its stats. Mega Evolutions add on 100 extra. But because they had put on 10 extra for Alakazam naturally, they forgot about that and added on only 90 for its Mega Evolution. But that got fixed, fortunately, in Gen 7. It's like, oh yeah, we kind of cocked up there.
Yeah. But what we need a more powerful Alakazam.
So I like the idea that the spoons are just manifestations of its level of psychic prowess.
I know you've brought this up in comps before, but the thing with the fucking Alakazams and the ice cream Pokemon, that's
just
great.
5 Vanillite from a Horde battle. He's been waiting for this moment his entire life.
This is rubbing its belly, licking its lips.
This is what it was born for.
That's not a beard it's got.
It's got fucking milk beard. Oh, Jolteon looks so happy here, look
Wow,
at him.
that is smiling.
That is one happy Jolteon. Shame he doesn't stand a fucking chance against my Nidoqueen. Bye-bye.
Oh, it's destruction.
It is.
Jolteon is one of the most...
Oh my.
Flippin' heck! He survived an earthquake!
Admittedly, he is 9 levels above me, but still, it's still an earthquake.
Yeah. It's like Jolteon is easily one of the most usable of the evolutions.
I thought that was Flareon.
No! I feel so bad for Flareon. I love Flareon.
He's cute, but he has no moves.
Yeah. It's like people...
Doesn't have any fire moves.
It's like people were saying for some time before Gen 6, I think it was, saying if it gets Flare Blitz, it'll be good. Got Flare Blitz. Yeah, it's still not changing.
It doesn't really have many useful attacks, does it? Just the basic stuff.
Bad for it. It's like Jolteon, it's got the speed, it can learn Charge Beam, so it's got a good chance of increasing its special attack every turn. It can learn good electric moves, plus it can learn Signal Beam, which is weird. And then you got Vaporeon, good set of moves, it's rather tanky. And Sylveon, surprisingly powerful.
And Leafeon is forgotten about.
I don't understand your hatred for Leafeon.
It just looks shit.
I like it.
I like Glaceon. Glaceon is a really cool design and one of the best Gen 4 designs in my eyes, but Leafeon is just a bit bland.
I love the leaf aesthetics on Leafeon.
I don't.
I think it looks great.
Oh, you're wrong.
No, I'm not.
Anyway, I just talked to Lapras guy. I think in this version, Lapras is a bit meaty. I think it's level 30. I think that went down to 5 in Fire and Leaf Green. It's one or the other. It might be the other way around. I can't remember. But yeah, we're fighting Jesse and James again. Which we did like about 20 minutes ago, you know, the Lavender Town. I get that they're using the Pokemon from the anime, but I kind of feel it does get a bit samey refighting them all the time because they always have the same team. I get that, you know, they're trying to mirror the Pokemon they have in the anime, but with how frequently they come up, and they don't really play on them that much because, like, in the anime they're comic relief characters, whereas here they're just there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which is kind of a shame, missed opportunity, really.
Just imagine if Jesse ended up throwing out Survivor a few gens early.
Survivor's a cool Pokemon, though.
Yeah.
Do you remember that 4Kids Trainer's Choice thing, you know, when they did them, like, eye-catch things?
I don't remember, but I know what you're on about.
The one where it's like, what does Arbok evolve into? If you pick Survivor, you're right. Okay, 4Kids.
Oh, brilliant.
Didn't Survive have a rivalry with one other Pokemon?
Yep,
Zangoose. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's it.
Yeah, they don't really do that much with it. I think there was an episode in the anime where, like, the Zangoose guy and that, but I don't really remember it, to be honest.
Plus, there's how if you get a horde battle in X and Y with a Zangoose and a Survivor, the Zangoose or the Survivor will attack each other.
Oh, that's really cool. That's a cool little touch.
Zangoose is quite a cool looking Pokemon,
Oh, yeah.
which is sort of forgotten about, isn't it?
I remember there being the Shadow one in XD, that one particular guy had it as his signature Pokemon, and that's what I remember Zangoose mostly from, because that screenshot of, like, I think it was just at Gatey on port with that dude, and the Zangoose was like one of the first screen caps to have come out. Like, before we even knew that XD was a Colosseum sequel, we just knew that there was a new GameCube Pokemon game coming out, and we saw that screenshot. This is like talking years back. But naturally I was shitposting on the internet at a very young age, so... Also, my Nido Pokemon is evolved, his isn't. Fuck you, Giovanni.
The only really important bit of plot point I've ever seen Zangoose used for was in Diamond and Pearl. I'm pretty sure it was used for Chimchar.
In what way?
I feel it was like... Wasn't he attacked by a bunch of Zangoose and then his Blaze ability activated and that's how Paul found him?
Maybe, I can't...
I'm pretty sure it was Zangoose that he got attacked by.
Because they did have that little, like, storyline with Chimchar trying to handle the Blaze properly and that, didn't they? Which was pretty cool, and I did like how they handled Infinite in general, because they did that quite well, actually, with a lot of the characters in Diamond and Pearl having, you know, that little bit more character development to them, you know, like you got the thing like Apom developed over time, and like the thing that I thought was interesting was like the way they handled Ash and Dawn sort of learning off of each other. That was really cool. And I don't really think they did that like with later side characters in Pokemon.
Iris, we forget about her.
Yeah.
And Serena, she just really wanted Ash.
Yeah. Like, from what I remember of her, from the little X and Y I've watched, that does seem to be, like, her main trait.
That's her main thing. And it's suggested, well, it's pretty much confirmed, at the end of X and Y, she does kiss him.
Yeah, you know, the thing that made a bunch of people online freak out for weeks and then forget about it.
It's like, recently they've released some dubbed episodes of Sun and Moon, and Lily, yeah, she's got Serena's voice. So as soon as I heard it, I was like, you're Serena in disguise and you're following Ash around.
Well, Lily is actually a really good character in the games. I don't really. I think I only watched like 2 episodes of the Sun and Moon anime. Was it Nidoqueen versus Nidoqueen? who can ask for a hug the best?
It's like I think it's like in the anime, Lily's afraid of touching Pokemon. Apparently,
I did see a few things like that.
But she does end up with an Alolan Vulpix, and she absolutely adores it, as far as I know.
Well, Vulpix is cute, so it makes sense, you know. But yeah, with beating Giovanni yet again, you were still not much of a challenge, dude. But like my Nidoqueen was like 10 levels below yours, and I still won.
Like you can use that PC there to store items and get Pokemon out.
Yeah, which is one of the things that in Gen 1, the PC didn't actually heal your Pokemon, which is kind of annoying. You had to mainly go to the Pokemon Center. But in later games, you can, if you're in one of like the dungeons in Colosseum, like I remember there's that, and you can just put your Pokemon in, like, you know, heal them in the PC box. It does the same thing, basically.
So it makes you wonder why the Pokemon Centres haven't gone out of business if a computer can do just as well as them, but within fewer seconds.
Yeah, like people's work being replaced by technology. Eventually you get a few generations down the line and Nurse Joy will be replaced by a fucking Magneton or something. Yeah, we just got the Master Ball from the Silph Code dude. The Master Ball essentially is a Pokeball that has a almost guaranteed catch rate. I think in Gen 1 it has a 1 in 255 chance of fucking up just due to an oversight in the coding.
Well, there is also the fact that Pokeballs can miss in this game.
Yes, there is that too, which is absolute bullshit.
Yeah, I didn't realise this until just the other day when I was catching Articuno. I'm throwing Ultra Balls at it and about 6 times in a row, missing.
Yeah, I had significantly more than that, and that's why you'll probably be glad that when we get to the legendary Pokemon that I did a lot of resets there, just to, you know, not waste the fucking, like, 20 odd minutes I think it took to get some of them caught. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was our coverage of the wonderful Silph Code part. So join us next time where we'll be going on to Sabrina. Bye bye for now.